long ago, 8,000 years before the start of the war between the kingdoms, a colossal structure was built that protected people from powerful sorcerers who killed everyone in their path. Guess what is at stake? Yes, this is the legendary Ice Wall from the Game of Thrones. In the saga, it stands at the expense of bad weather and a pinch of magic. The question is it possible to replicate this legendary Leviathan in real life? George R.R. Martin is the author of The Song of Ice and Fire, famous for his thoroughness in the process of creating a fictional universe. The writer didn't ignore the wall. The idea of this fantastic fortification came to him when he stood on Hadrian's Wall on the border between Scotland and England in the UK. It was built during the time of the Roman Empire. Martin imagined that in his books, the defensive structure would be much more massive than even the Great Wall of China at 30 feet or 9 meters in height. As is stated in the work, this giant ice barrier has a length of more than 300 miles, that's 480 kilometers, and about 700 feet or 213 meters in height. Its exact width is unknown, but it is indicated that 10 riders can travel across the top of it with ease. If in Westeros all roads were built according to this principle, then they certainly haven't heard about traffic jams. In the books, the process of building the wall itself isn't mentioned. It's only known that in creating it, the magic of the children of the forest was also used. And this explains a lot. As the scientists have established, if we tried to reproduce the wall somewhere on the continent without magic, the wall would quickly collapse. Martin Traffer, who studies natural ice at the University of Alaska, after watching the show, wondered how much such a lump weighs. Having written several formulas, the scientists found that an ice wall 700 feet high, or 213 meters, would exert pressure of almost 1.8 megapascals of tension. To put that into perspective, I'll just say that in real glaciers, the base is under only about 0.1 megapascals of pressure. The Antarctic ice shield and Greenland both boast formations several kilometers thick. But this miracle of nature originated over hundreds of thousands of years in extremely harsh conditions where human intervention would only ruin everything. And here, George R.R. Martin was mistaken. Considering that there's a forest so close to the wall, there just can't be a low enough temperature. Maximum 14 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 10 Celsius. In such a climate, the barrier would erode much faster and collapse in a matter of a few months or even weeks. Therefore, one of the ways to preserve its condition would be constant cooling. If you kept the thermometer at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is also minus 40 degrees Celsius, the rate of destruction would be reduced. But the phenomenal voltage is not going anywhere, and after several years, the wall would still deteriorate. The solution to this problem lies in the design. If you build a solid stone foundation, it would take on all the pressure. Then, just leave it under constant snowfall for hundreds of years, and that's it. You get the wall. It is possible that in this fictional universe, the builders cheated in this way, covering a stone frame with layers of ice. Now, there will be a spoiler. It didn't help them, and the wall received impressive damage. Despite all the efforts and magic, after the Night King took control of the dead Dragon of the Night, Viserion made a break in the wall in mere minutes, thanks to generously breathing fire on it. Fortunately, in our world, dragons don't yet exist, so if someone dared to build the wall, it would stand for quite a long time. Only the budget for its construction would completely ruin any small country, and maintaining the massive structure would be a challenge to nature itself. First, you need to create a frame. According to Big Rents, the largest online store of construction equipment, the cheapest way would be to create a wooden base to order, which would cost about $189,000. And don't forget about the elevator. If the members of the Night Watch would every time need to climb to the top of the stairs, there simply wouldn't be any defense forces. Given that electricity in the universe of Game of Thrones hasn't been invented yet, it's necessary to design a fully mechanical lifting system. And even for such a primitive version, you would have to pay about $219,000. Then the foundation would need to be lined with a multitude of ice blocks 3 feet long, or about 0.9 meters. And it's just blocks. You can't just water everything and wait until the wall freezes itself, because in that case, it would be more like an ice hill. The extraction of such blocks and construction would take a lot of time and money. If we assume that the width at the top is about 300 feet or 91 meters, and divide the entire length of the barrier into sections, like in the Great Wall of China, then to reconstruct a full replica of the structure, you would need 105,000 sections. The construction of each section would cost $606,000, and the total estimate would increase to $31.8 billion. But this is just an artificial big mountain. Also, the wall needs protection. A couple of long-range guns haven't damaged any kingdom. In the world of Game of Thrones, the role of catapults is played by scorpions resembling huge crossbows. The approximate cost of one such device is $26,800, and to fully protect at least one gate, they would need at least a dozen. Don't you think it's kind of strange that in the Game of Thrones they're able to tame dragons, but for some reason they didn't invent firearms? Now, the Order of the Night Watch will need to live somewhere. Forget that the book mentioned 18 different buildings, and let's settle on building the most important thing. The Black Castle, the headquarters of these fearless people, located approximately in the middle of the wall. A huge plot in the real estate market is estimated at $2.74 million. When Jon Snow places an ad for the sale or lease, he can only indicate among the advantages located in a quiet place, and a delightful view opens from the windows. And friendly neighbors, of course. But seriously, all the kingdoms should sooner make peace with the White Walkers. Even according to the most optimistic estimates, the total cost of the wall, together with all the devices and houses, reaches $167 billion. With such a sum, it's quite possible to make off with all of Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon's estate, or buy some archipelago close to the equator. Or you can simply agree with the authorities of Yakutia, where there is almost an exact copy of the wall. In this northern country known for its colorful landscapes, there is the Lena Pillars National Natural Park. There, for 124 miles or 200 kilometers, high cliffs hang over the Lena River. And when their unusual slopes are covered with snow, it seems that the Night Watch might actually appear at the top. If White Walkers really existed, the inhabitants of Westeros could sleep peacefully. On these steep walls, whose height is an average of 656 feet or 200 meters, an unprepared person would never rise. Although due to the constant bad weather, it would be hard for the average person to live there. Therefore, for a true fan of the saga and the series to build their wall, the task is almost impossible. Even if you improve existing cliffs, you would have to spend money on installing all the benefits of civilization, which means that the end result won't be at all like Jon Snow's possession from the world of fantasy and fiction, which can be translated into real life. Which ideas would you like to see in the next releases? Write your wishes in the comments, offer the coolest ideas, and we will definitely make a video. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell and be the first to know about new videos. And stay with us, because the most interesting is yet to come.